Hello, hello! We are live again. Another Sunday live. And I hope you will find your way to this live stream. And yeah, I think we wait a few seconds. It's just, you can see here if someone is there. Yeah.
Ah,
I'm going to teach my guest, Dr. Mats. I will
beautiful
come.
game.
Yeah, how it works. It's always so exciting. When we've been advertising that we've been doing this now, people has shown up. And yeah, here we go. Here we go. They are coming in. So this Sunday Live is very, very special. And I love doing these live streams with Dr. Mats, who I know now for more than 3 years. Yeah. And I actually came to Lisboa 2 days ago, and we met up here and we thought, let's do a live. We already had planned it, but that he can come to my van and we can be here physically, that's much more fun. We've done this once before, and again, I love doing it because it brings so much, how shall I put it, like, we want to bring hope and light to the world, right? And we are so many who's going around with pain in our body, our back, our shoulders, our neck. We feel like, oh, is it supposed to be like this? So that's why I've invited Dr. Mats to bring some clarity around that. No, it doesn't have to be this way, right? So this Q&A is for you, everyone who's showing up. And please let us know where you are tuning in from. We have a couple of eyes on us now, and I'm just gonna see if I can find my way to the chat. I managed last Sunday. Yeah, there we go. So please let us know where you are tuning in from, and also what might be your symptoms. Is it your neck, or is it your shoulder, or is it your knee, or I guess that most of us have some kind of symptoms, and many thinks that this is just how it is. And again, no, it doesn't have to be that way. So yeah, I'm so happy that you are here, Mats. I just want to say that you have worked as a chiropractor for more than 30 years, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this man knows what he's talking about. So feel free to ask questions, and we will have a conversation, and we will stop and answer your questions while we go. So share where you're tuning in from and share whatever symptoms you might have, and questions around it. Feel free. There are no bad questions, nothing wrong. We can not say anything wrong. So please just give me a short not an introduction, but just how you look upon the importance of learning that we can heal from within. How did it start for you? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Marie. Um, Working as a chiropractor in the room for so many years, treating people that came, of course, to be treated. And my intention was to do just that. But after a while, I soon realized that treatment doesn't work to fix anything. Because the body, after all, treats itself or heals itself when it can. And looking at the amount of time my patients were spending with me, they will come for 10 minutes or 20 or even half an hour every week, every other week, but it's still only 0.1 or 0.3% of their time. So then, of course, they go home and undo all the work and they come back with the same thing. So I got fed up with doing the same thing to this beautiful body that actually was or is designed to be self-healing. So I thought surely there must be another way where if I teach my patients what to do at home, they don't need me.
That's a great way of looking at it. I mean, that we don't want them to need us anymore.
No,
Wow.
give the power back. And the dentist did that many years ago, of course. They invented this idea about sticking a brush in our mouth to brush our teeth twice a day. And it was very strange, of course, when it originally came out, like most new ideas. And of course, now it's obvious dental hygiene. But spinal hygiene is not yet on the agenda.
No.
So the spinal hygiene, which is so much more important because it runs us and our nervous system. So if we don't look after it and reset it every day, we get into deficit, accumulation, compensation, and one day the inevitable pain and problems.
Mm.
So I got fed up with pain and problems when the body is so amazingly designed to heal itself. So what was the outstanding link to self-healing? And taking the power back and do spinal hygiene at home and never having to see me again. So that's where it started with my personal research.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you really have created your own concept of this, and I love to hear when you say spinal hygiene. I had never heard about that. Please let us know if you have heard about spinal hygiene. I think you're the only one who's working with this on this.
Yeah, it's been, hygiene and spinal hygiene it pops up, and everyone means different things.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, it can only find out right or wrong by trying it. So that was my intention to try it myself. So I try all kinds of things to be able to advise my patients during 30 odd years, but then realizing, hang on, it doesn't work for me. So it must be something universal. There are lots of spinal hygiene exercises, programs available that claim to do all kinds of things, but by trying them, I realized that no, I still cannot do what I want to do. And at 60 plus, I still want to play ice hockey or roller hockey. So I want to do extreme sports and continue to play, but that was not possible. So yeah, spinal hygiene is a bit of an umbrella for a lot of things. But I want to go past that and think, what is it that the body ultimately needs? Not just one body or the other body, but everybody's body, where it's universal to brush our teeth. Everybody benefits from teeth brushing, but what can we do for the spine to prevent things from happening? Not treat it, because it treats itself, but to reset the imbalances that have created the inability to heal itself. Because that's the catch. Why isn't it healing itself?
And also when you said that we just need to learn to reset it every day, and I guess when we humans, we are in our natural state, we are a little bit lazy and we get a little scared when it's every day. But I've done this now for almost 2 years, and it's easy. I love that you have made it easy and you made it fun. So it's really not complicated to do this every day. And I also, when I got this idea a few weeks ago to invite Mats again, is because I traveled from Sweden from the north of Sweden down to Portugal, and that's 5,000 kilometers. Some days it was a lot of driving. You sit and you sit and you sit, and you're gonna speak about what we think about sitting too much. But when I came out from the car and we were traveling a couple of vans together, when I jumped out of the car, I didn't have the pain I normally used to have a few years ago when I was sitting and driving my car. And when I came out and met my friends in the other van, and they are half my age, and they were, oh, my back is aching. And I was just, I'm fine. I was doing my resets, and they got so inspired and curious because I had no problem from driving so much day after day after day, and they had pain. These young people. So it has nothing to do about age.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. We are often led to believe that this got something to do with our age.
Yeah.
And it's that would be very sad that the body all of a sudden decided to fail, and often failing, of course, on one side, the right hip or the right knee, not the other side, but they are the same age.
Yeah.
So it's a dilemma, especially if you ask the orthopedic surgeon about the age of the two sides of the body and he doesn't know what to say.
No.
But yeah, so age is not a good excuse. No, we don't accept that.
We don't accept that. No, 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 no. Hello, everyone who's coming in. I'm so glad you found your way. Here we have Jennifer from Savannah, Georgia. I have experienced pain in my lower back and right hip. I suspect the hip pain is from the way I sit by favoring one side more than the other. How do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, that's a very good point and very normal, because sitting is normal, but it's very far from natural. So we have a dilemma there. We have introduced sitting as a normal thing. And with time, of course, that sitting gets to us naturally. When we go to the so-called primitive areas, we find people squatting. And when we squat, we don't get back pain. So the sitting, yeah, is the key there. And the amount of sitting and the length of sitting and the position of sitting. So by changing the position of sitting, and we talked about me and Marie to do some workshops to address certain areas of the body specifically. But yeah, the sitting is the key, but everybody has to sit, so we can't avoid sitting. But if we reset the body, we can't avoid sometimes so-called bad food, but we reset by brushing. So if we reset the body regularly, a few seconds here, a few seconds there, and take the breaks after that 20 minutes, half an hour, then the body has a chance to recover. But when you have a situation already, you have to get back to fixing the source of the weak foundation, which will be your pelvis. Not the hip, not the back, but your pelvis.
Yeah, great point there. Thank you for your question, Jennifer. And here we shall see. Ah, you had the same. All right. Amanda, hello. Thank you for this. I hope your day is filled with peace and joy. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Love right back at you. Sarah, we have a regular here. Sarah, I think you've been on every of my live streams, haven't you? Remember you from last Sunday. And you have the same issues. I think that most people have issues with this, like because so many works is forcing us to sit,
Yeah.
sit,
Yeah.
and then the computers and the phones.
And that's the biggest issue of sitting in the right place, low, where your knees and hips are leveled as we have been instructed, or where your knees are below your hips. Perching. So if we perch on a stool and we have the screen up high, then the body comes up, and of course we're not in that rounded, compressed state, which is our fight and flight state. So when the body's in fight and flight, it stops its own healing because it's busy fighting the tiger. So when we put the body back into its expanded state where it should be, and then it can activate the healing, then we can heal during the day. But we need to be aware that, oh, so I need to set up. It's the environment. Nothing wrong with my body. Nothing wrong with your back. Nothing wrong with your hip. It's perfectly able to heal, fix itself, regardless of age, almost. When we have a joint that's totally worn and there's bone on bone, then unfortunately the imbalance has been there too long. But anything before that, your hardware, basically meaning your body, is fine, capable of doing phenomenal things. But the software, the environment, and how we've been treating it can be upgraded. And by upgrading it, the body will switch on its own healing cycles, and the back pain disappears, the hip pain disappears. But yeah, knees below the hip, screen up high, and 20 minutes tops. No more than 20 minutes sitting. Half an hour tops, and you stand up briefly, do some walking on the spot, some moving around, then another 20 minutes, half an hour. but don't get stuck any more than half an hour tops.
Mm. Oof, I'm guilty there. I'm still working on that.
Yeah, use a timer maybe.
Mm, that's really good, and I love that when you speak about that the body is really just trying to communicate with us. The pain is nothing wrong. We just have to understand what is it that my body is trying to teach me.
Yeah.
And when we learn about our body, like you have teach, no, you didn't teach, you have taught me during these years when we're working together, it's amazing to understand how it all works, and that, as you say, is nothing wrong with our body. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
very good
and
point.
and again, for everyone who's here coming in and joining us, let us know if you are interested. We are kind of planning to have a workshop pretty soon with Dr. Mats, because I really want to help to share this wisdom that you are having, and because it helps so many. So let us know in the comments as well if you want to join our workshop, and I will let you know when it will be. I think we have some more questions here. Chelsea Parker. I'm dealing with a rare bone disease which has aged my bones. I'm 41 and the doctors say my bones are like a 90-year-old. The only thing I've found that helps is diet and microdosing.
What rare condition is that? Do you mind sharing?
Okay. Here you say makes sense. The knees above the hips. I do that too much. I'm really tall. Mm. Yeah. Until you answer us, we go to another question, Chelsea. We'll come back to you. We have someone here. We have Sarah Johnston. I suffer with fibromyalgia. I don't know how to say that. Fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia. And I was told to rest by the doctor. The rheumatologist said I have to move to ease the symptoms. You have to move to ease the symptoms. So not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one when there's so many pieces of advice out there, not just from the so-called specialist, but online. Again, the bottom line is fibromyalgia is something that you are not born with, which tells me that your body is fine. But somehow the body has been in an environment, unbeknown to you, that's been stressed, not just physically, but emotionally, and maybe chemically. And all of a sudden the body says, I can't anymore. Because I've been run on cortisol. And cortisol is very inflammatory. It causes acidity in the body, and it sidesteps the natural recovery period. So if we're in a cortisol mode and stressing all day long because of our environment, then of course there's no healing. There's no recovery. And one day the muscles they're holding us up in these funny positions that we sit in are saying, I can't hold you up anymore. I need a break. Yeah, so then we got to go back to the original cause again. But with the house, of course, we have strong foundations. And we know that's most important, otherwise we get the cracks. And should we buy an older house, the first thing we do before spending money on a roof or windows or interior is to fix the foundation. And in the body, that's called the pelvis. And because of the sitting, and the more sitting we do normally today, the pelvis is weak and the body compensates. Back pain has nothing to do with the real cause. The real cause of back pain is pelvis weakness and body imbalance and fight and flight. So then we switch off the healing, we weaken the foundation, and the body has to hold itself up. And it holds itself by using the muscles. And that gets very tiring after a while. So you got to then fix the foundation so the muscle can take a break and recover as they will. but they have to have the foundation strong to achieve that. Yeah, fibromyalgia is one of those very popular, no, not popular, very unfortunate, common diagnosis these days because of how we use our bodies. Fibro meaning fiber, myo, muscle. So the muscle fiber, algia means aching, pain. So painful muscle fibers. It's not really a diagnosis saying where it's coming from. It's just a explanation what it is. Like I got a headache. It doesn't tell me what the headache is coming or due to. The fibromyalgia is a bit of an umbrella covering all kinds of things, but it stems from our lifestyle, which creates the weak pelvis.
And Sarah, she's writing here, I got it through trauma and having coronavirus 5 times. And I'm sorry about the sound. My external microphone didn't want to work today. It's on holiday, obviously. So we have to speak up, Mats. And I can't look at you when I speak. I have to speak right into the mic. So hopefully you can hear us. Yes, I. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, that's a lot of stress, Sarah. A lot of stress. And it's hard to fully appreciate how little it takes for our system to switch on to the survival instinct and protect us. And if we do that once as a child, we prime the system. And if we get another fight and flight moment, physically or emotionally, in early days, we just accumulate the sensitivity. So a certain part of the brain gets very, very sensitive and it almost walks around hyper alert, protecting you. And then we get whatever. And then all of a sudden, woo, we get something. But that thing we get is not the key. The key is to rewind and go through life and say, okay, let's see what have I accumulated and what part of the body has that affected and how has it inhibited my natural healing design. Instead of focusing on the pain or the problem, now we defocus on the pain and problem. We ask the questions about the environment that the body has been in since birth. And then the answer is very obvious. And the solution is very easy and it takes time. There's no quick fixes. There's no 6 weeks to health or 3-month program. After 6 months, you have a potential of getting your body in a position where it's ready to start a new journey. And the following 2 years, you put yourself right. After 2 years, you're virtually back to normal, if not bulletproof. But that's a timeline. 6 months to get the right constitution, makeup, programs running in your hardware, getting rid of the old ones, and then enabling the body to embark on a 2-year recovery.
And I am a living proof of that because before I met Mats 3 years ago, we didn't start to work at that time, but I went to so many chiropractors, naprapaths, osteopaths, acupuncture. I did it all. I used to be a hairdresser and I worked in a lot of different heavy work. So I was like, I thought I had destroyed my body, and I thought I needed to go to all these treatments every week. But that wasn't the truth. Once I got to know what I'm actually capable of doing, and now it's a little more than 2 years since I started to use your I want to look at you, but if I look at him when I speak, you can't hear what I say. So I look at you in the screen here. Looks maybe a little strange, but that's how we have to do it when we don't have a real proper microphone. But yeah, so it's like it really works, but I am a living proof that it takes time. But now after 2 years, I feel stronger than ever in my body. So we had a question that you wanted to approach again when you found out where it came from, or was it was Chelsea Parker, and you asked something to her, and she answered here. Hypo, hypophos. Can you read that, Mats?
90.
Chelsea is writing
Phosphatase, yeah. Yeah. these things that we get, either they're genetic because there's deficiencies somewhere in your system to um, regulate and control certain physiological functions, or it's secondary to chronic stress. Is yours genetic, or is it secondary to chronic stress, Chelsea? If we address the chronic stress situation first, as a general thing, instead of focusing on the thing that we get, whether it's the thyroid, high or low, or whatever part of the body that fails, where the hormones are measured and we call it something, and we call it something. The name is often just an end product of many years of accumulative stress happening to the body, and the body adjusting to its natural function by compensating. And all of a sudden the body can't compensate anymore, and we get a lack of something.
Mm.
There's either lack of something or too much of something. Too much means toxicity, lack of something called deficiency. There's only those two states that will inhibit the body from being self-healing. So again, the detective work, but that one question, that is it genetic or is it acquired through stress and time, is important, because if it's genetic, then we can't do much about the origin, but we can do still something about how the body perceives it, and that's very important. Whether we have something horrible like cancer or something that is genetic, instead of focusing on these things, we're just going to focus on looking after the body and its nervous system and its immune system. So then there's a lot to do to optimize our own, because everybody with these symptoms and different cancers, they all respond differently. Some live a long time, some do not live, unfortunately, such a long time. So the variable is very much, how is that body, either before we acquire this syndrome or illness, and how are we actually addressing the body's fitness. It's the body's fitness that enables the immune system to kick in or not. So it's about maximizing your own capacity within, which is virtually phenomenal or endless.
Wow. This is so. I hope you find this interesting, and I'm so glad you are so many coming on. Welcome, welcome to all you. And I also want to take the time to celebrate you when you're sharing all these vulnerable stories and things that you're going through. I mean, reading all these comments, Sarah and Chelsea, what you have gone through, it's amazing. So I want to celebrate you for not giving up on you. I mean, again, we have all the power within us so we can make a change. So the first step is to become aware of how amazing you are, and for still showing up and not giving up. So welcome to this live, and we have someone here. Gladness, you missed the beginning, is doctor a real doctor? He's a chiropractor. Yes, and we don't want to spend so much time going back to that, but you worked as a chiropractor more than 30 years, and now he has invented his own way of helping people to be independent and taking care of their bodies on a regular basis, which I find phenomenal, because I don't want to keep going to these doctors and naprapaths and chiropractors every single week. It costs a lot of money and it takes time, and we want to feel strong in our bodies, right? So welcome, Gladness, and thanks for your question. And who is more here asking? Love Wins ask you, is there a specific diet that would help? Would help for are you talking about for the body in general? Because I don't think you have shared any specific issue. Yeah. So how would you like to?
Yeah, diet is interesting because, of course, there is open to so many opinions and ideas. So it's a very well spoken or well discussed topic. Um, if we eat seasonal, local, and organic, we it's hard to go too far wrong because the produce locally have a frequency that relates to our area that we grew up in, instead of going for the far away foods and fruits. And also looking at, of course, the source of the food. Is it organic? Is it truly organic? Where is this meat coming from? So take responsibility again for source. Where are these eggs coming from? Are eggs good for me? Well, if your body is relaxed, I call it a rubber band theory. The more we stress the body physically, emotionally, chemically, and time, all of a sudden the body says, I can't anymore. And then we get that sort of inevitable snap pain. But if we have reduced the tension in the body by addressing the imbalances through our lifestyle and environment, then the body and the liver gets very strong, or remains very strong. But if we stress the body with cortisol and cortisol and cortisol, that means the liver is busy, preoccupied, clearing the cortisol, and it takes a lot of work because it can't keep up because there's more coming every day. So we have uncleared cortisol, fight and flight, upsetting the whole physiology permanently. So we catch up a little bit at night. When we sleep, we naturally go into our healing mode. But then as soon as we wake up again and face the world, here goes the the sympathetic and the cortisol production, and we're fighting again. And the liver is busy, busy, busy. So then the natural physiology that liver should be looking after for our growth, well-being, and regeneration is set aside because fighting comes always first. So when the diet or when the lifestyle and our existence is simple, local, seasonal, organic, we can virtually eat anything in that field. But then, of course, the more stress we have, the more susceptible we are to inflammatory food and the ingredients in the food.
Mm.
So it's a bit of wide answer to your question, but it's a great question because there's such a jungle virtually out there full of food. If you live in the jungle, then of course you'd eat that. But if you don't live in the jungle,
Mm.
but eat food from anywhere and everywhere in the world, not knowing quite how long it took for that piece of fruit to travel to your local supermarket, then the value of the nutrition is not very good.
No.
So this time of the year, of course, here in Portugal, we have apples and pears locally, which is great. So I eat apples and pears.
Mm. Mm.
Then we get some oranges in February, and maybe it's me oranges. Then we get some mango, of course, in May, June from the Algarve. So yeah, it's a seasonal produce, and that's a good one. But still, doesn't matter how well you eat, if your body's in stress and has been in stress for a long time, it cannot physiologically break down and digest your food. So it will always create this acidity and inflammatory reactions.
Mm.
So the first thing is, yeah, figure out what is it detective work. What aspects are stressing my body, and how long has it been in stress, and what can I do to undo the stress? And that's your sitting is the first one. As soon as you sit down, the body says, I'm stressed. Because a faulty position is an unnatural position, so the sitting initially, or right away, creates stress.
Mm. Mm. I wish we had a kind of a space here in my van so we can get up now and dance to some great music. But we will do that afterwards, and I encourage you to do the same. We need to move more. This body needs movement. We all know that, and that's another thing that I really appreciate with you, Mats, because you're looking. Do you say holistically? I mean, it's a holistic way of looking at every issue that I had, and whoever you meet, and you go back to you. We don't have the time to go that deep, but I remember that you asked questions that I had never received from any chiropractor or doctor before. So the curiosity to really find out what is the root cause? Why have I had all these issues for so many years? So yeah, it's such a difference to work with someone who has such a passion for it. So what else do we have here too? Well, thank you so much for your loving comments. You appreciate my channel and you want me to continue with interviews. Thank you. I will do that. And I have actually a person I want, a very young woman I'm gonna invite to have interview around Ayurveda, because me and my daughter has dived into Ayurveda thanks to this woman, and I'm gonna bring her onto this channel because, as you say, there is so much information online about what we shall do with if we have this issue or this, but we have to also remember that we are individuals. We have different history. I mean, no one is the same, so we can't just give this is the recipe. Yeah, there are, in general, as you say, we're not going to sit so much and we're going to do certain things, but we also have to understand that we are going through different things. We have different luggages, different stories, and especially when it comes to food. Um, so thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. Um, can we see someone who has another question? Yeah, I had to take coffee completely away as a suffer. Yeah. You're really stepping into responsibility, Sarah. I celebrate you. You're taking away what doesn't serve you anymore. Ironic this quest comes up this morning. This comes up this morning. My back developed acute sharp back pain yesterday and muscles very tight. Even turning over from laying down.
Yeah, who said that, please?
Gladness.
Gladness. Yeah, that's a good sign that your foundation is weak. And I've become a bit repetitive now, but yeah, everything goes back to the foundation. The back is where the pain comes. The sharp stabbing pain, or when you bend over or sneeze or get out of the car or turn in bed, it just bites hard in the back. But it's only because the muscles have been compensating for the weak pelvis for a long time, so they're holding on to your vertebrae, distorting their normal position and building up tension, and more tension till all of a sudden it becomes too much. But it's not the back's fault. It goes back to that foundation again, the pelvis.
Yeah, she writes here that she's taking a lot of pills, lost yesterday, and this morning I will start core exercises to move fluid in discs.
So, yeah, guys, be careful there because it's nothing wrong with your core. And this is an interesting statement, of course, because everybody's treating or strengthening the core. But your body doesn't work by the core. It works with all the roughly 600 muscles together, the 200 bones, and a bunch of organs. Every millisecond, it's synchronously working together and moving and compensating. So if we go to the gym and decide to activate one group or one part of the body, we distort the whole balance that Mother Nature gave us. Basically, we're overstepping our mark by telling the body, oh, you need to have a strong core, by the way. But actually, that's going to pull on the rest of the body because the core is not made up of 600 muscles, but it communicates with all the 600 muscles and the 200 bones and a bunch of organs. So it distorts everything. Sometimes going to the gym and exercising feels good because we're stimulating our endorphins, so we get a release of happy hormones. But actually, we are making the body worse long term wise because we are not addressing that foundation again.
And we have something interesting here. Chelsea Parker asks Gladness, can you stretch it out? And that reminds me what you told me 3 years ago when we started to have this conversation, because I felt so steel. How do you say that in English?
Tight.
Tight.
Yeah.
And I was into this stretching, and you said no. Can you just adjust that?
Yeah, we have to realize the body has an intelligence to protect itself that goes beyond our wildest imagination. The science have no way to understand it fully. So basically, if the body is making a muscle tight, it's doing it for a very clever reason, to maintain its global balance. And that's the global balance in the physiology, to keep us alive by keeping the body upright in a working position. So if our lifestyle has pushed the body forward into a bent forward position, the muscles behind us are working really hard to try to keep bring it back up again, because the brain is telling those muscles, please bring my head up to be on top so I can process the physiology that runs your body fully. But actually your lifestyle has brought the body forward, so the muscles are constantly tight from your head all the way down to your feet, and that creates stiff muscles. And of course, very popular to stretch them out because it feels better. We get endorphin release, we get all kinds of happy hormone release, but we are undoing the body's compensation for being forward. So yeah, it goes against the body's global function to stretch a muscle without knowing why it's tight.
Mm.
So it's not sustainable, because you have to stretch it and stretch it and stretch it to so-called feel it looser, but you will never win because it's there for a very good reason. You're just stressing the body more by trying to undo the body's intelligence. So stretching, even though it's popular on every program that you find online, don't stretch. Activate your muscles, but don't stretch them.
I stopped, and I feel good.
When you work on your shape, think of this as your antenna. This is your antenna for your beautiful radio. If your antenna is pulled upright, you will receive that frequency and you'll play that beautiful tune, opera, whatever music. But if it's not fully pulled up, it's not sounding good. And this is what, sadly, what we're like these days. We're not sending the frequency or receiving, because we are doing both. We're sending and receiving the right frequency. We're sending a lower frequency that we should, and that's why we can't self-heal. But when we straighten our antenna, we have the capacity beyond our wildest imagination to heal virtually anything and live a very good life for a very long time without pain and problems. But its shape governs function, and it always goes back to that.
Mm.
Don't treat the symptoms.
No. Go to the cause. Find the cause. And I've learned something now, is that to ask everyone who's with us to set a cue in front of your comment if it is a question directed to Dr. Mats, because you are so wonderful. You are supporting each other and giving love to each other, and there's so many comments, and I find it difficult to find the questions. So I want to cheer you on for being so loving and supporting to each other. But in the future, please set the letter Q in the beginning, and then that can help me identify what comments I'm going to focus on and bring to Dr. Mats. Because here in the end now, Chelsea says, this is super interesting, thank you. So you ignore it, drink more water. I wonder, is that something follow up to what you have spoken about, Mats? So you ignore it? Ignore what? I don't know.
Yeah. Can you specify, Chelsea? That's
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. I remember how amazed I was when I heard about this 3 years ago, and it's life changing. I promise. Sarah, I haven't learned more in this. I have learned more in this conversation than from the doctor. Thank you, both of you. Oh, thank you for sharing. This is why we're here. And if we can do this on a regular basis, so I can share this amazing soul who just wants to help the world to heal, then we will do that. Um, how about a hanging board to decompress if it is acute pain in body?
Yeah, there are lots of things that will change our state and make us feel better. Hanging upside down, anti-gravity board, massage, stretching, it all has an intention, good intention to make us feel better, but it doesn't work to correct anything because the underlying reason is still there. It's a bit like a car. When a car has lost the alignment and the front tire wears out, and we keep replacing the front tire, and it wears out again, and we put another one on, or some clever tire manufacturer decides there's a process we can put some extra rubber on your tire. Very fancy. In the body is called stem cell technique. So they try to replace worn joints by stem cells. But actually the alignment is still off. So that several £1,000, dollar or euro operation is not sustainable. Because they will wear out, those joints will wear out again. And then of course there's a replacement waiting, but still the alignment is off. So now we've done stem cells and the replacement without addressing the underlying cause, the weakness in the pelvis, the imbalance in the body. So we never do that to the car. No, we set the tracking. But in the body, we do things that sometimes, if we step back and think about it, perhaps doesn't make sense. Because it's all about shape governs function. And if we have a strong pelvis and use the body according to its so-called original design, which was based on movement, like Marie said, is movement. The river flows and is happy and healthy, exchanges the water, fish is happy, plankton comes and goes, the grass and the weed is fed. But if that stagnates because we built a dam or the beaver built a dam, of course this water after a while gets smelly. We get green algae on the surface and we start to get acidity. So movement is everything. We are the river. The river is in us.
That's such a great comparison. And I think we're gonna, when we plan the workshop, I think we're gonna go into more about how important it is to remember who we truly are. How did we live as a baby? And yeah, this is just a teaser what's coming in the workshop. I just ordered that. He doesn't even know. But it is so much about what he says here, building the foundation. And that's what we did as young babies. And then we lost it during how we've been living. And yeah, we need to remember that again and go back. And we've had some clarification here from Chelsea. I meant, should you just drink more water for the stretching? But you answered a lot of that already. Okay, so you're happy with the answer, or did you want to add something?
Yeah, water is essential, and good quality water, the good pH value, the right frequency. When it comes out of the tap, of course, it's not the right frequency or the right shape, the molecules. So yeah, essential to have good water. And just think of that fact that whatever the body creates, it creates for survival. So if we get temperature, it's for survival. If you get a pain, it's for survival. So we have a sort of a temperature has a bad reputation. Pain has a bad reputation, but it's just a language. The body's trying to get our attention and get us to say, please do something because you have upset my ability to heal myself. So I have to give you some kind of a sign. And if I shut the pain up or reduce the temperature, of course, I'm ignoring what the clever body created without even understanding why it created it. So yeah, the body never lies and is not stupid. It's more clever than we ever think. So yeah, so the stretching, we've got to work on our antenna instead and fit the environment accordingly. So instead of sitting on that sofa or having the kids for hours in the car seat, we move instead or lie on the floor and keep the body straight. Or when we have to do the work, we perch on a higher stool and we put the screen up high and we have a detached keyboard so the arms and hands can be down below and not up here. But the screen has to be up so the head is back. So your vagal nerve is working in its parasympathetic state, not in its sympathetic state. So on, off. So if the body is in the right position and you're breathing into your tummy, you will enable your parasympathetic self-healing mode. But if you're jamming your tummy and head is down, your body's always stressing.
And Chelsea says, I love that answer. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chelsea. Good
I
question.
think we have another almost 10 minutes, so I go through the last questions here. Jennifer asks, what are your thoughts or suggestions on osteopenia and osteoporosis? My mom lost mobility as her bones became mush and Alzheimer's advanced.
Sorry to hear. Yeah, it's a sequel, sadly, to our lifestyle these days. Stress switches off our thyroid, our parathyroid gland, which is part of the calcium bone maintaining organ. And all of a sudden, we are not getting that cycle of natural replenishing, which we are designed for, because there's too much stress blocking it, cortisol. And that cortisol comes from the emotional stress that we've been under and the physical positional stress. And it accumulates and accumulates, and all of a sudden we get deficient in our natural production internally, and all of a sudden there's a situation, osteopenia, osteoporosis. Osteopenia can be of sometimes metabolically related or genetically linked, but often it's an accumulative response by the body to a situation that's stressful, driven by cortisol, and we're not meant to replenish the bones or heal or do anything, digest food, go to the toilet when we're fighting the tiger. So those natural functions are switched off. But if that becomes the loop, the brain chemistry that we run for ourselves, stress, cortisol, yeah, we get deficient. And it's very sad that so many of our elderly have got this, and even younger ones today have bone scans that are so-called positive to reduced density of the bone. But yeah, it's totally reversible. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the body's ability to use the parathyroid gland to go back into metabolic mode of producing the right ingredients for bone regeneration is fine. It's perfectly functional. It's just switched off temporarily.
Thank you. Before I take the last question, I want to invite you to our community on Heartbeat. I will put the link so you can join us there, because I will advertise the workshop with Dr. Mats in our community. It's totally free, but it's easier for us to reach as many as possible. And feel free to, if you want to invite your husband or even male. It's just that in Heartbeat we are only women, but you can share the link that you will find in there. So watch this live when I publish it afterwards, and I will put the link to our community there, and you can come in, and I will put the information about the workshop. Okay. So the last question, are you ready for this, Mats?
Go for it.
Love wins wonder. Does swimming helps or just being in water?
Yeah, movement anywhere is good, and of course swimming. Great question. Um, is symmetrical. So we are symmetrically stimulating our body, and the muscles are working, and the lymphatics are pumping. The lack of weight bearing means that we're not getting the natural stimulation, but swimming is a good exercise unless, of course, the pool is chlorinated. So then we are breathing in very, very, very toxic fumes, vapors for a long time, and not just breathing it in, we're actually absorbing it through our skin. There are pools, of course, or the sea, ideally. Sea swimming is fantastic if you haven't got too cold the water or whatever. But yeah, the sea swimming is phenomenal because, of course, in the water there are minerals, and the cold works our body's immune system, and we builds up energy in the slow energy field. So to withstand and build up the stamina in the cold is a very good swim. Ideally, given the antenna shape of most people, if we swim on our back, we help more. If we swim on our front, we are pulling the body forward. We are benefiting from the movement, but the shape is being pulled forward by the muscles used for swimming on our front. So backstroke, alternatively, would allow us to open up and reach and stretch more.
Ah,
But
the,
be careful about the swimming pools.
yeah, absolutely.
Great question.
So many great questions, right? I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for everyone who's been here. And we will soon be back, will we, Mats?
Yeah, you're welcome to add questions, of course, when we stop, and
Yeah.
I'll get back online and reply.
And I will also put all the information if you want to contact Dr. Mats and not sit and wait for the workshop and because there are many ways you can work with Dr. Mats, just like I have done the last 2 years. So I will put all his contact information under this live. But again, thank you so much to all of you who's been here with us. And we will come back with another live stream and also information with an invitation to the workshop. But we haven't set the date yet, but we will soon. Do you want to add anything? You have 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's very exciting to connect with you. I'm very grateful, Marie, for inviting me, and because the treatment is not the solution. When you start to get into position of realizing, hang on, I've got all the healing remedies on board. I just got to access them. You have the power to do virtually anything and beyond. When we remove that block that we have often gathered over many, many years, physically, emotionally, and often chemically, so we start to work backwards, the body is phenomenally able. Arthritis, back pain, heart conditions, brain conditions, lung conditions. In the right environment, the cells are programmed to heal. They're not programmed to be asthmatic. They're not programmed to be irregularly heart beating beating the heart. They're not programmed to. Yeah, there's so many things that are happening to the body due to our environment unknowingly. So yeah, when they change the shape, you change the function.
Can we give them just give them one thing they can do easily every day to get closer to this reset? What is just one simple thing they can do? Some daily practice.
The obvious thing will be, and you're not going to like it, don't sit. And if you do choose to sit, sit higher, perch.
Yeah.
Don't sit on a sofa. Sofa is great for lying on. If you got a partner, a friend, go and lie and cuddle together, but don't sit. Lie on it. Yeah, that position, which has been normalized by what we do, sitting, is the main reason for the body's shape not enabling our self-healing mode to kick in, which sounds almost too simple. Yeah, including heart conditions, lung conditions, brain conditions, muscle, skeletal conditions, stomach conditions, bowel conditions. When stagnation sets in, every part of the body malfunctions.
Mm.
And it's a matter of time before that river, when it's stagnated, start to smell. And in the body we get immune system attacking it, and that's called a growth. And that's nasty. Only because of stagnation.
Makes so much sense. And I love that we are now getting permission from Dr. Mats to lay down in the sofa without any guilt. It's better than sitting. So let's wrap it up with that wisdom. Lay down in the sofa, wherever you are, or stand and move. We're going to stand up here now and do some movements and reset our body, and we will be back soon. Thank you so much to you, Dr. Mats, and to you who's been here. And see you soon. Love you all. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then comes finish.